Hi everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I have a delicious and super easy dinner recipe that you can have ready and on the table in about 45 minutes. I'm going to be sharing my mom's beef cutlets with mushroom gravy over noodles. Now I absolutely love this dish. It's really nostalgic to me because my mom used to make all types of cutlets when we were kids. She would make beef, pork, chicken, even fish, and then this gravy is absolutely delicious. If you're from Eastern Europe, your Russian, Ukrainian mom probably made this gravy as well. It's made with mushrooms, carrots, dill. It's super creamy, and then I like to serve it on top of noodles. You could also serve this with mashed potatoes, which is the combination of the beef cutlets with the gravy and the pasta. Simply incredible. You guys are going to love this recipe. I'm going to start with my beef cutlets, and the very first ingredient we'll need is 1 large onion, and I'm just going to grate it into a large mixing bowl. And now that I have the hard part done, it's time to add my remaining ingredients. I have about a 6-inch piece of day-old baguette, and this one just happened to have rosemary in it. You can use plain as well. I just soaked it in a little bit of water. I'm just going to add that into the mix here. Break it up a little bit. So the bread is going to do 2 things. It's going to make the cutlets a little bit lighter and also add more moisture. These are going to be super juicy. Add about a tablespoon of fresh dill, a little bit of parsley, a teaspoon and a half of salt, 1 large egg, and I have just over a pound of ground beef, and I'm using 80% lean. I like the additional fat because it just adds more flavor and they're super juicy. Then I'll use my hands to mix this all together. And then grab a scoop and measure out this meat mixture onto a tray or a cutting board. And my scoop has 3 tablespoons. You can make these bigger or smaller. I've measured about a cup of panko breadcrumbs, and then to shape the cutlets, what I like to do is just press them into a little patty and then drop them into the breadcrumbs, kind of rotate them around to make sure that each piece is well coated. And time to get these cutlets into the pan. I'm going to be using a large non-stick pan, and I'm going to fry the cutlets in batches because I don't want to overcrowd the pan. I want them to be nice and crispy on the outside. I'm going to preheat my pan over medium heat and add a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And once my oil is nice and hot, I'm going to add my cutlets. Cook the cutlets about 5 to 6 minutes per side. I'm going to flip them over and cook them on the other side now. You want them to be nice and golden brown. And I'm going to remove my finished cutlets onto a tray lined with paper towels, and I'm going to keep this tray warm on my stovetop while I make my mushroom gravy. For my mushroom gravy, I'm going to heat a saute pan over medium heat. Add about 1.5 tablespoons of butter, a little bit of olive oil, and I'm going to wait for that butter to melt. And into that melted butter, I'll add my mushrooms. I have 10 white mushrooms that I've chopped up. Toss them in that butter, and I'm going to brown these for about 5 to 6 minutes. And these mushrooms are looking great. I'm going to season them with a little bit of salt, cook them for another 30 seconds, and then we'll take them out of the pan. And into the pan, we'll add 2 diced shallots, 1 large grated carrot, season that with a bit of salt. Saute the onion and carrot for just a few minutes, and then add in 3 minced garlic cloves, and cook that for about 1.5 minutes. And one other spice I'm going to add, a little bit of smoked paprika. Then add 1.5 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. I'm going to use this to help thicken my sauce. Toss that around until the onion and carrot is coated in that flour. Let it cook for about 30 seconds. And then I'll start pouring in my beef broth. I have 2 cups of beef broth. I'm going to add a little bit at a time and just deglaze the bottom of the pan first to get all those little fried on tidbits into the sauce. I'm going to add the rest of my broth. Return my mushrooms to the pan. I'm just going to let this cook for a few minutes until it starts to thicken. And this sauce is thickening up nicely. Next, I'm going to add in 1 cup of cream. You can also use half and half. And then sprinkle in a tablespoon or 2 of fresh dill. And let this boil away for a few more minutes until the sauce reaches to your desired consistency. And I cooked some egg noodles while I was preparing the cutlets and gravy. Going to pour the sauce over the top. And how good does this look? I wish you guys could smell the aroma of it because it's so aromatic, so mouth-watering. And time to dig in and enjoy your dish. I'm going to grab a little bit of everything, some of the meat, some noodles, and of course some of that mushroom gravy. These beef cutlets with this mushroom gravy equals phenomenal. You guys are just going to be mind blown by the incredible flavor. These beef cutlets are so juicy and they're packed with so much incredible flavor, and the mushroom gravy is just something else. So creamy, delicious, flavorful. You guys are just going to love everything about this dish. You can also make this with mashed potatoes if you don't want the noodles. I do like the noodles better. Just a personal preference. Hope you guys enjoyed this dinner recipe at home. For the full recipe, just head down into my video description box and you can find a link that'll take you over to my blog. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time with another recipe.